Do you ever feel intimidated by the idea of tracking your calories, tracking your macros, where you're worried that you're not going to get it right? Well, you're not alone. And with the holidays in full swing, that pressure can feel even heavier. I know this myself. This is very relatable to me. So today, I am going to share with you how I went from feeling that overwhelmed feeling and confusion to finally becoming consistent with my own nutrition in a way that felt and feels doable, freeing, and nothing like another diet. So, if that's you and you're feeling that kind of way, this episode is for you, and I know it's going to be very helpful. So, let's get into it. Welcome back to our show, girl. Showgirl. That sounded funny. Anyways, thank you so much for being here once again. Just want to thank you for being a loyal listener. Actually, was just looking at this platform and noticing that Rock That Fitness with Anna Rockstar did very well in 2025, and we're not even done with it. So I'm feeling really pleased with that. I might share that in my social media. Anyways, thank you for being here. Hope you're having a wonderful day. And today I kind of want to do some reflections and talk about how I became consistent with nutrition. That's what I'm going to talk about today. Kind of get into it on a personal level, like really get into the things. Okay. So, how are we doing? We are definitely in the swing of the holidays and the Christmas season already. When this episode drops, I will be in Phoenix, Arizona. I'm going to one of my favorite business conferences this coming week, and I'm super, super duper excited about it. And while I'm recording this, today is Thursday, and yesterday, Country Boy, Fuel Man, we went to a Christmas party last night, and that was really fun. But I really felt a little bit of the pressure of like, oh yeah, it's the holidays, all the food, and it was a Christmas party and all the things. And even though I was prepared that day, like yesterday, like I ate healthy all day, I had plenty of protein. I was going into that Christmas party with probably around 700 to 800 calories being, for my maintenance of the day. And if you saw my social media today on Thursday and I shared all the food, yeah, I definitely went over. But, that's the beauty of knowing how your body responds to food and knowing how many calories your body requires on average, not just day to day. So nothing to be worried about it. But I was definitely feeling the pressure like, okay, we are just starting December and I'm already eating the things, you know what? And it's not even that big of a deal, right? Because I have the tools. And here I am with this IT band syndrome. I am not walking nearly as much. Even cycling is causing irritation and aggravation to it. I think I might pull out my tether and start swimming in the pool. I got to heat it up a little bit. But anyway, the point is, this is kind of why I'm going to talk about what I'm going to talk about when it comes to nutrition, because I know that my activity level has decreased, and so I also need to be aware of my energy balance, and that has to do with how many calories I'm taking in. Calories are energy, so I'm not really worried because even if I do, likely I will, and already have at least a couple of pounds on average for the past few weeks, I've gone up. And I'm not concerned about it. And neither are our Rockstar clients inside of Rock That Fitness because we have the tools and we're working on our skills. And I already know that if I go into January and I have added on 5 extra pounds in the new year, no big deal. Put myself into you know, a moderate calorie deficit, a healthy calorie deficit for a little period of time and shed that extra fat. So it was really fun. I had a really good time. The food was amazing. I had a big serving of very, very fancy, like gourmet mac and cheese. Like I had that last year. I'm like, I'm not passing it up, girl. I wanted some of that this time, and it was so good. No regrets. This is the beauty of knowing your body and knowing what you need. So, But I know if I felt that sense of pressure, I'm sure everyone's kind of feeling that, right? This is a season that can feel a little bit chaotic when routines shift. We know routines are shifting, having to do with our jobs, our families, and other people on different shifts as well. And then we've got parties and events, and these things kind of feel like they're piling up. And well, food is everywhere. The food and the goodies are everywhere. And we don't need to look at them like they're bad. They're not. They're not bad or good. They just are what they are. And so, but I just want to acknowledge that a lot of women this time of year right now are feeling this pressure and the guilt or pressure, and I've been there. I've been there, and from time to time I still feel those things sometimes. So that's why today I wanted to share my story of how I became consistent with nutrition, not through perfection, but through understanding and understanding that this is a scientific process. This is a scientific, evidence based approach that I coach on that works when you are applying it consistently, not perfectly. And so, but my mission is to truly help women over 40 who are busy, high achieving, driven, because we've got a lot going on, a lot of responsibilities. So my mission is to help her, to help you to feel strong, healthy, fit, confident, and all these things physically, mentally, emotionally, and also in control of our food and our relationship with food. And that's why I want to talk about this today and how I became consistent. So this isn't going to probably be a very long episode, but also I'm sure I'm going to say things that I have shared before, but I also have some new listeners out there and I'm excited for you. And that's why I wanted to share this in case you didn't want to go back in time and listen to other episodes. And it's also good for all of us to have some reminders, right, about what's going on with us nutrition wise, consistency. And it does continue to ebb and flow. Life is not always the same. And as we're aging and different phases of life and different times in our lives happen, we have to learn and know how to make these adjustments. So I'm going to share a little bit about my own story here. And again, I think this is just very helpful and reminders. So for years, I started my weight loss, my fat loss over and over repeatedly with different dieting approaches. And, I am one of those people that also used WW, Weight Watchers, many times. Well, I say many times. I know that for sure I did it 3 times. I tend to look back and go, there were 3 significant times that I did it. And so I did lose weight. And I'm saying this because it is a diet, and diets don't work. It's a diet program. WW Weight Watchers is a diet program, and it has a diet mentality to it. So even when we do begin to learn the skills and implement the skills of tracking our calories and our macros, there can still be a tendency to be in it with a diet mindset. So just a reminder, and maybe through some of the things that we talk about today, you'll maybe put 2 and 2 together and see, am I actually approaching my fat loss and my weight loss in a diet culture, diet mentality, restrictive mentality, bad or good mentality, doing it perfectly or not at all mentality. Okay. So I did lose some weight on WW, no doubt. The last time I did WW was in 2017 when I did that 2018. I did lose a lot of weight, 60 pounds, you guys know, but also, side note again, I am a nurse, so I understand nutrition. I understood nutrition. And this is kind of part of the reason why, it's not part of the reason, a lot of the reason why I'm going to share this. And I did lose a lot of weight, but this time around, I was incorporating strength training and building muscle and strength training in a structured way. So not just doing strength training workouts, right? And so one of the things that happened towards my last part of the time that I was with Weight Watchers as a nurse, and as I was studying, I was actually studying more about nutrition. and considering that I needed to know my macros. I'm like, you know what? I am cycling a lot. I'm running a lot. I am working out quite a bit, I knew I was putting out quite a bit of energy. And in order for me to really know how to balance this out and, you know, do this in a way that was sustainable, do this meaning stay healthy, fit, and strong, maintain my fit physique, and continue with the activity level and maintain muscle mass, lean mass, which is very, very, very crucial as we're aging because we're losing muscle mass. So I needed to know how to do this. So I'm learning more about nutrition and maintaining my healthy, fit physique. At this age, I was 47, 48. And I realized something huge. It was like so eye opening. I was like, okay, Weight Watchers. I know Weight Watchers does, their calorie thing now. I believe I'm not into it. Don't quote me on this, but they do this, point system. And I knew that it was like they weren't going to answer my questions. I tried asking about the macros, and I just knew that it was time for me to step away and not be reliant and dependent on any diet program again. And this was where I was challenged, and I had a little fear. I was like, I'm not going to lie. I was like, oh, calories. I'm going to start tracking calories and macros. And that sounded so intimidating and scary and stuff. So I say this because that's my story. And even as a nurse, even in what I knew about nutrition, so I dove in. I also had people asking me for help because of my own success in my fat loss, and my transformation was so significant. And so I started learning, and I did, NASA, National Academy of Sports Medicine, and started really diving into the nutrition coaching part of this and gaining the knowledge and then beginning to apply it. And I was like, wow, it wasn't easy. It was the concepts are simple, but just like anything, it is a skill to be learned. And as you practice it, you get better at it. So, like I say, the point I'm trying to make here is that it was scary to go from what I knew was working for fat loss in the Weight Watcher world. Like I knew that, but I also knew more importantly that I needed to make this shift for myself. As scary as it was, I was like, you know what? I just need to do this and I need to learn it and I'm going to move on because this is going to be the real deal scientific approach, understanding my own individual body's needs because we each have our own individual needs. And that's the other thing about diet mentality. Diets and diet programs are very cookie cutter. But when you have the skills of understanding your calories and your macros and your own personal activity level and what your body needs, now you at any stage in your fitness journey, your body, your journey for your health and your fitness, you are empowered. You have the skills. So it doesn't matter what's going on in life, what's happening, what's shifting. You have the skills and the understanding because you have been practicing this, you've been applying it, and then the fear goes away. Because when you have practiced something like this and you repeat it, the skills become solid and you start to see the results and you realize, wow, this science really works. The scientific approach really does work when I work it properly, not perfectly. And then you get the results, and this is where the confidence comes in, right? Just like anything that you work hard, you work on, you get better, you get more skilled at. That's how confidence is built. Confidence doesn't happen like I'm just going to become confident. We have to mess up, we have to fall down, we have to keep on retrying, getting up, like fall down, get back up and do it again. That's how we build confidence. Confidence doesn't just happen. And so I didn't want another diet ever again. Girl, I was ready to be free. And I wanted to maintain my strength and my fit body. So that's how, for me, I got started with that. And when it came to consistency, the other part of that is that it took some time to really dial that in. And this is where a lot of women, they don't give it time. They think they're doing a calorie deficit, but they did it for 1 week. I'm not losing any weight, and da, 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 but it's like they have not really dialed in the skills and they haven't given it time. This is something that takes time. This is why I always talk about we're in this for the long game. It's like an experiment. You have to experiment. You have to maintain all the variables the same for an extended period of time, just like any experiment. And then after that time, and you haven't changed any of the variables, no matter how much you're doubting it, you don't know. This isn't about that. This is about, I'm going to do the same things. I'm going to keep staying consistent, continue to do the thing, the skill. And then after, we talk about 30 days. Now let's see how it went, right? I did it scared and I started to do this thing. I'm like, how consistent can I be? And I did track it on a calendar because you cannot track your consistency unless you are tracking. You don't know how consistent you've been, I should say, until you've actually tracked your consistency on a calendar. And I would do that, tracking all of my calories each day. And, then I would track it on the count. Did I hit my target? And then at the end of that 30 days, when I would complete that and I would see how much fat, how much weight did I lose? What was the trend line in that 30 days? What was my average calories and how consistent was I? You see, this was like the scientific method. It is the scientific method. And if you want to be successful, this is the way to do it. And this is what we do inside of Rock That Fitness. So I realized something huge during that time for myself. I was like, wow, this isn't scary. This is just a skill. Consistency is also a skill. So, this is what we talk about in RTF. And I'm telling my ladies, if you want to know how consistent you are, you need to track your consistency. Now look at it. You do this experiment for yourself for 30 days, all of the data points, all of the stuff, the average calories, how consistent you were. Well, maybe I wasn't that consistent. Maybe I was 70% consistent. Okay, this coming 30 days, do all the things the same, but let's increase that adherence. Let's get better with our consistency and see what happens then, right? But remember, and huge, listen up. It's not just the scale that we are measuring, right? It is our progress pictures once every 4 weeks. It's measurements every 2 weeks, depending on how much you need to lose, how much excess fat you have to lose. Progress pictures, how your clothes are feeling, your measurements, how you are feeling physically, because the scale, depending on how much, right? It may not be, you may have changes happening in that 30 days. And you don't know it because sometimes the scale isn't going to necessarily reflect that because we're working on body composition. So these skills, you're not born with them. So that's the good news, right? You can just build on this. And so let's talk a little bit about energy balance. So like I said, one of the turning points for me was fully understanding that there is this thing, energy balance. And I know when women talk about energy balance, they don't even think about energy balance, but they're talking about energy balance when they say things like, I need to burn off 1,000 calories. I went to that Christmas party last night. I tracked, what was it? Almost 2,000 calories. So, oh my gosh, I need to go burn off 2,000 calories. You know what? This is the stuff that really gets people stuck because it creates a very unhealthy relationship with food and an unhealthy relationship with exercise. What we really need to do is control the foods that we're eating, the calories going in. The calories that we're eating is what we can control. This is why they say it's 80% nutrition. Yeah, it is. So why are we focusing on trying to burn calories? Yes, you're burning calories naturally, and we can talk about that later. But the point I want to make is that we're talking about energy balance. Ladies are talking about energy balance when they're saying, I need to burn 500 calories, or I ate this donut, so I need to burn 400 calories, or whatever it is. But energy is energy. And so this is why we know that food is not good or bad. It's just, what is the caloric value of that food? It's not good or bad. It's energy. And yes, it's either healthier or not healthy. Like what is the nutritional value of those calories? That's different, right? But the point I want to make here is that energy balance, it's calories. It is calories in, calories out. That's like a very simplified, and I know people will argue about that. It's not just calories in and calories out. Well, at the end of the day, it really is. And it is really that simple. People want to argue all day long, but it's really that simple. But there's a lot going on here. So we have to take into account all the different aspects of our fat loss. So this was a big turning point for me. Like, you know what? I'm riding my bike, and I've talked about this before. So many miles. I need to make sure that I'm fueling myself properly along the way. I need to make sure that I'm refueling myself when I'm back, and I need to make sure that I am also fueling and giving my muscles what they need, right? So it's not just about calories. It's truly about making sure we understand macros, especially protein, and this is how you're going to fully start to feel more control. And so this energy balance idea gave me clarity instead of guessing, which that's how I felt when I was doing Weight Watchers. I felt like, well, I don't even really know what my energy balance is when I'm doing this. How would I know? I'm not counting calories, which is the scientific way of knowing. So knowing that helped me understand what I was doing before. I know why it was working, but this approach, this just knowing some points or knowing my calories, even just knowing calories isn't going to work long term for us as we're aging, ladies. We need to understand the macro stuff, okay? We got to pair our understanding of energy balance with macros. Again, especially at the protein piece of this. So I finally felt in control, and so do my clients inside of RTF. When they start to apply this, it's like the whole world opens up. It's like, I see the light. I get it, and it's so freeing. And especially it's freeing because we're not approaching this like a diet. And knowing these things is going to help you support your mission to build muscle and your goals, right? To get stronger and to help you maintain that muscle that you're building and to help you actually enjoy the holidays. So that never a holiday, never a special event is going to stress you out anymore because you're empowered. We become empowered. This is where you become a woman who understands your body, and you understand your body and your body's relationship with food. And you know what that does? It creates confidence. It gives you trust. Now you can trust yourself. A side note here, I want to shout out to my Rockstar ladies, my Rockstar clients in RTF that are right now this month, we're doing a challenge of putting away the scale and trusting the process, which is huge. But after you've been on this journey for a while, it's time to really make sure that you're nailing the process and not relying on that scale, even though we're not relying on the day-to-day fluctuations of the scale because we know we're looking for a trend line, but still, we're still kind of hung up day to day. When that scale goes up, we think it's bad, and that scale goes down, we think it's good. So this month, the challenge that I proposed to our members is let's put away the scale and let's make sure that we are trusting the process. You can trust the process. So you can trust that you're getting the results, whether those results are you're in a calorie deficit, modest calorie deficit, and you're shedding fat, or you're in your maintenance calories and you're maintaining throughout the month, right? If you are doing the things, all of your actions, the process goals of the day, taking action on these things in the process, you can trust not just the process, you can trust yourself. How does that feel? That feels amazing. There's no mystery. It feels very freeing. This is, again, why I track my calories and macros, especially now that I'm aging. So you become a woman who understands her body, your body, not a cookie cutter program, not a cookie cutter meal plan. And you can trust yourself with food, all food, and you can trust the process. This is where that identity shift, this is what makes consistency possible because you understand the science behind it. You know that if you apply the actions every day, you're following through, not perfectly, but most of the time consistent, 90%, you know you can trust it. And so your identity is not tied up in a diet. You don't have to be afraid and you don't have to be worried and feel stressed out about the holidays or any great time that we're over indulging or going above our calories because it's a special event. You're in control. It's a beautiful thing. So all this to say, I get it. I've been there, and this is what works. This is truly what works. Now, I know some women are going to be like, "Yeah, but I don't want to track calories and I don't want to." That's okay. Then it's not for you. And I wish you well. But this is the way that I know works. And the reason that a lot of women don't want to do that is because there are beliefs that they're believing that are keeping them stuck. And I know this is going to step on toes, and a lot of women don't want to hear this, but this is the truth. But most women don't want to hear this at all. And they're going to continue to stay stuck. And I don't know if they're going to stay stuck, but they won't know. And I shouldn't say like they're going to stay stuck, because some women are in this area in their health and their fitness, and they're fine with it. So if it's not a problem, good for you. If you're not having a problem, great. But if you continue to struggle with feeling at peace and free and really enjoying your life as you're aging, because food feels restrictive and you feel like you have to do all or nothing, or you feel like you have to cut out things and you feel like you better diet. And this is like you're on a diet merry-go-round, yo-yo, back and forth, falling off, getting back on. If that is you, girl, let's think about what we're believing when it comes to tracking calories and macros, right? I thought, ooh, it's scary. That's a lot. It's going to be so hard. Well, if we think those things, yeah, it's going to be. But if we approach it with, I don't have to be perfect. I just need to start building the skills. I just need to start practicing it, doing it. There's a huge difference, night and day, okay? 180-degree difference between having the knowledge. You can understand calories. You can understand energy balance. You can understand all the macros, carbohydrates, proteins, and fats, and what they are. And you can understand the whole concept of calorie deficit, shedding fat. You can know knowledge. But if you have never actually implemented and practiced it, then you don't really know it, if that makes sense. You can have the knowledge, but you don't know. The way you know is to do. And I'm not here to say I'm any better than anybody else. I'm not. I have just chosen to say, I need to practice this. I need to get better at it. Skills. The woman who is humble, who is not afraid to ask for help, which tends to be, an issue for a lot of women, overachieving, highly driven, thinks she should know how to do it, but she's struggling. And so she doesn't ask because that's embarrassing. We've got to get the ego out of the way. Bottom line, got to move the ego out of the way if you want to really be successful. And I say this with so much love because I've been there. I've been there thinking I should know. Yeah. But when we can humble ourselves and just say, you know what, I just need to go ahead and get a coach. I need to join Rock That Fitness and then start doing the thing. Then your success is inevitable when you can let go of judgment and take a clinical approach to all these things that I'm talking about when it comes to it. This is how we become consistent. We remove judgment. We understand that perfection is a myth. It's not real. So that we remove judgment, right? And we show up imperfectly, and we have to do it imperfectly first. Nobody ever succeeds being successful. You have to mess up. You got to mess up so you can analyze the data and say, oh, and learn from it. You are either going to get, this is one of my coaches has said many, many times, you're either going to get the results that you put in the actions and effort to get, or you're going to get a lesson. Either way, you win. You're a winner. And that is the beauty. And this is how to be consistent. You remove the judgment. You put to work The evidence-based approach, calories, making sure you're getting plenty of protein, plenty, optimal protein, and then doing this over and over and over and over and over and over, just like in your fitness. You keep showing up. You keep showing up, girl. And there are going to be days that it's going to be hard, harder than other days. You might be tired. You didn't get enough sleep, decision fatigue, all of these things. Yeah, you're human. That's okay. Remove the perfection. We just got to keep showing up. And you deserve the best opportunity to succeed. Give that to yourself. Stop fighting yourself. Just like some of the clients I've been talking to lately. Yeah, we got to stop with the BS that we've had, the excuses that we make for ourselves. Because if you keep on with those limitations, if you keep fighting for your limitations, I don't remember where I heard this, but it's like genius. If we keep on fighting for our limitations, we can keep them and stay right where we are. Or we can say, okay, this is going to be hard. It's going to be challenging, but your success is on the other side of hard and challenging. So, yeah, I hope this episode was helpful. And if there's any part of my story that hits home for you, because basically my story is that diet after diet, yo-yo dieting, gaining weight, losing weight, frustration, I felt that pain. I also wondered if I had no idea if I would ever achieve the success that I wanted in my heart. I did doubt that, and I wondered, but now I know it's possible. And I also know I know it's possible for you. I know it's possible for you. If you are sitting here and you're thinking, I don't know if it's possible for me. Why do you think that? What is the belief that you have bought into that is causing you to believe that? Because those beliefs that are, quite frankly, a lie, they're not true. They're holding you hostage, keeping you there. What is that belief? We've got to break through and decide to think differently, to believe something else, and focus on that, and let's put it to work. Actually, and remember, you don't even have to believe to take action, right? You can just simply start taking some action and watch how it works, and then you'll start believing. How about that? But anyway, yeah. If any of my story resonates with you today, because I've been there and I get it. I'm telling you, that day I looked in the mirror, very disgusted with myself. This was towards the end of 2016. Unhealthy, 46. I was 46. I was over 200 pounds. I was having health issues. I can't even tell you, I was so unhappy in my body. I could smile on the outside. I didn't want to wear anything in my closet. Even if something fit, I did not want. I wasn't happy with that. I was very unhappy with my body. And at the time, now I can look back and go, wow, I wish I would have had a coach to teach me to love my body right where it is, so I could love my body into healthy and fit rather than feeling the way that I did. I was doing it for the wrong reasons at the time, some of the right reasons, okay? But my mindset was totally different at the time. I was disgusted. I tell you right now, my words were, I am so disgusted with being fat. And I said it like that. I was angry and not happy with myself. I hope that's not you, but if it is, I get it. I know where you are because I've been there. And I want to give you hope. I hope that I'm inspiring you. I know I hear this quite a bit from people. Anna, you inspire me. And I just want to get back in touch with you by getting back in touch with me at the time, because I do get it. I feel it. I know that feeling. So if you want help, because you probably do know a lot of the things I talked about today, but if you want help actually implementing and knowing it, because you're actually doing it, because doing it is knowing, and you want to implement the skills in a simple way, in a supportive way, in a doable way, I want to encourage you to get on the priority list for the next Rock That Fitness enrollment. It'll be happening it'll be in the new year, 2026. But I've chosen not to get involved in the whole New Year's resolution and all that. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but if you want the long game, I just sense in my gut, in my heart, that a lot of the women that want to do the long game, they're going to be waiting. They're also not going to be like, oh, I got to do something in the beginning of the year, because we all know it takes a little bit of time to start getting into the new year, things settling down, putting the holidays behind us, getting back into our routine. And it's like, you know what? I'm ready. I'm ready to put away my BS. I'm ready to get my ego out of the way. I'm ready to really do this thing for the long game. And I'm going to get myself on this priority list so I can be first to know when the doors open for Rock That Fitness enrollment in 2026, which will probably be, I don't remember the date, but just get on the priority list. I think the date's on there. So the priority list link is in the show notes. And I know it's going to be towards the third part of January. So we're starting in the new year. 2026 is your year, girl. So get on the priority list and let's rock your fitness like never before in a way that you feel energized. You know your body. You don't have to rely on another stupid diet again. And you're going to truly understand what it means to be consistent and stop falling off the wagon. Y'all like to say that. It cracks me up. I used to say it. I don't say that anymore. But it's simple. It's not complicated. And you don't have to do it alone. If you want to go do it alone, knock yourself out, girl. But we're all in here because we're stronger in numbers. And we are here helping each other, encouraging each other, lifting each other up. I mean, look around. Where is your support system? Most women don't have a support system, especially at this age, right? We're past 40, we're past 50, and it's like not so easy to have that support, that peer support, other women doing the same thing and having the same goals. So you don't have to do this alone. And you can have a structured way of doing things, a structured plan, if you will. Not a meal plan, which you can. I do have a meal plan that you can start out with, like training wheels. But I'm here to guide you in your own personalized, individualized nutrition for your body. No more cookie cutter plans. Something you're going to implement, something you're going to know is working for you. And you're going to have a freedom that you've never experienced like ever before. From here on out, you won't ever need another diet again. This is how you're going to be consistent. I've done it. I am doing it. I have no fear of regaining my weight. I don't have a fear of any of that. And neither do the client, neither are Rockstar women inside of Rock That Fitness, because they're implementing. They're not just knowing, they're doing. They're not just trying, they're doing. So give yourself the freedom, the confidence, and the strength in all of the ways, body, mind, and spirit, and all those things that you deserve, girl. You deserve that. Again, I hope this has spoken to your heart. I truly want the best for you. I love you so much. Thank you for listening to this podcast episode. Thanks for joining me today. And if you will, I would love it if you could take a moment and just maybe rate the episode. I don't know what platform you're listening, or leave a comment. Those of you who are leaving comments inside of Spotify, thank you so much, by the way. I should start reading some of those again. I was doing that before and I didn't. I will do that in the next podcast episode. That'll be fun. All right, girl, let's rock and roll. Have a fantastic rest of your week, whatever you're doing. Enjoy it. Be present. Enjoy the moment. Let's not get caught up in all the ways, the herd mentality. It's stressing. It doesn't have to be. Okay, let's just enjoy. Let's enjoy the holidays. Let's be here for what it is, to love ourselves, give ourselves self-compassion, to show up and love others, and just truly enjoy the season for what it is meant to be. I love you so much. Let's rock and roll. Okay, self-care, self-love, rockstar freedom, self-care, self-love, all day, every day, in every way. Do I have your word? Good. Let's rock.